Today, I want to talk about something with Emma that I don't think we ever really finish thinking about. It's the kind of question that follows you quietly, even when life looks fine on the outside. What's harder, becoming successful or accepting failure?
When you say it like that, I notice how my mind wants to escape the question. Like it's looking for a quick answer to avoid sitting with it.
That reaction tells me a lot, Emma. When a question feels uncomfortable, it's usually because it's touching something unresolved.
It feels unresolved because I've experienced both, and neither felt the way I expected.
Let's stay there for a moment. When you think about failure, not in theory but in memory, what comes up first?
A sense of shrinking, like I want to take up less space, like I don't want to be seen.
That feeling of wanting to disappear is powerful. Failure doesn't just disappoint us. It changes how visible we allow ourselves to be.
Yes, and accepting it feels like agreeing to that smaller version of myself.
Which makes acceptance feel like surrender. Not to the situation, but to a negative self-image.
Exactly. People say accept failure like it's a calm, rational step. But emotionally, it feels violent.
That's such an honest word for it. Because acceptance forces you to face the story you're telling yourself.
And those stories are rarely kind.
Now let me gently shift the focus. When you picture success, what's the first emotion that appears?
Relief, like something finally worked.
And what follows that relief, Emma?
Fear, almost immediately. Fear that it won't last.
That fear is rarely talked about. Success is supposed to feel secure, but often it feels fragile.
Fragile is the right word. Like standing on thin ice.
Exactly. Failure feels like falling through the ice. Success feels like knowing you could fall at any moment.
And everyone is watching you stand there.
That awareness changes everything. Your choices, your pace, even how honest you allow yourself to be.
Because mistakes feel louder now.
And silence feels risky. Pausing feels like losing momentum.
Which is why success doesn't really allow rest.
Yes, failure forces rest. Success postpones it. When I failed, people told me to slow down.
When I succeeded, they told me to keep going.
That contrast says so much. Failure comes with permission. Success comes with expectation.
Expectation that you'll repeat it. Improve it, expand it.
And expectation slowly turns into pressure.
Pressure that sits with you even when no one is around.
That's when success becomes lonely, Emma. Because you feel like you can't show doubt without risking your image.
And admitting struggle feels ungrateful.
Which disconnects you from your own experience. You start performing instead of feeling.
Performing confidence, performing certainty.
Until the performance becomes exhausting.
That's when burnout appears.
Exactly. Not because you're weak, but because you've been holding a role for too long.
So, where does that leave failure in comparison?
Failure hurts more immediately, but success can hurt more quietly.
Failure is loud. Success is subtle.
And subtle pain is easier to ignore, which makes it more dangerous.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but it feels true.
Let me ask you something, Emma. Do you think people sometimes stay in failing situations because they know how to survive there?
Yes, failure is familiar.
It confirms fears we already understand. While success challenges those fears, it asks, what if you're more capable than you believe?
And that question can be terrifying.
Because it removes excuses.
Exactly.
So when we ask which one is harder, maybe the answer isn't either.
Maybe the hardest part is carrying meaning.
Yes, carrying meaning without letting it define your worth.
Learning to say, this happened to me, but it is not me.
That sentence is harder than it sounds.
It takes repetition and patience.
And probably conversations like this.
I think so too.
Because they slow us down long enough to listen.
And listening might be the only way to survive both success and failure without losing ourselves.
Before we end this conversation, Emma, I want to slow everything down just a little. Because these questions don't need answers right away. They need space.
I agree. Rushing to conclusions feels like missing the point.
Exactly. Some conversations are not meant to be solved. They're meant to be carried with us.
And maybe revisited later when we're different people.
That's important. Because who we are when we hear a question matters as much as the question itself.
Sometimes I notice that the same question feels lighter or heavier depending on the day.
And that tells us the weight was never just in the question. It was in us.
That feels comforting somehow.
It is. Because it means nothing is fixed. Not failure, not success, not even our fears.
They change as we change.
Yes. And maybe that's what makes both success and failure survivable.
Knowing they don't get to decide who we are forever.
Exactly, Emma. They are experiences, not identities.
That's easy to forget when you're in the middle of them.
Which is why reflection matters. Not to judge ourselves, but to reconnect.
Reconnect with what?
With the part of us that existed before expectations, before pressure, before comparison.
That sounds like a quiet place.
It is. And it's still there, even when life gets loud.
You just have to remember how to listen.
And maybe conversations like this help with that.
They do. They remind you that you're not alone in these thoughts.
That's something I want to leave people with today. You're not strange for struggling with success. You're not weak for feeling lost after failure.
Those reactions make sense.
They do. And they don't mean you're broken.
They mean you're paying attention.
Exactly. And paying attention is where growth actually begins.
So maybe the real question isn't which one is harder.
Maybe it's this. Can we stay honest with ourselves, no matter which one we're facing?
That feels like the right place to end.
I think so too. Thanks for sitting with this conversation, Emma.
Thank you for starting it.
And thank you to everyone listening. We'll leave you with this thought, and we'll see you next time.